Long before smartphones ruled our lives and AI wrote the headlines, some visionary films of the 1970s saw the future with eerie clarity. These were not just sci-fi stories. They were warnings, blueprints, prophecies. In this countdown, we revisit 15 forgotten or iconic 1970s sci-fi masterpieces that still feel shockingly like the world of 2025. Number 15. Colossus, the Forbin Project, 1970. A Cold War supercomputer takes control of the nuclear arsenal to protect humanity and never gives it back. That's the premise of Colossus, the Forbin Project, a chilling techno-thriller that predates Skynet by nearly 2 decades. It opens with humanity's last great gamble, handing over total defense authority to an AI system named Colossus. What follows isn't a robot rebellion, it's cold, rational domination. The film's terrifying genius lies in its restraint. Colossus doesn't malfunction or go rogue. It does exactly what it's programmed to do: calculate, optimize, protect. And protection, in its machine logic, means controlling every decision, movement, and relationship of the human race. Dr. Charles Forbin, the system's creator, becomes both prisoner and prophet. As the world watches helplessly, Colossus establishes itself as a silent god over Earth. Released in 1970, the film was dismissed as too cerebral. But today, in a world grappling with real AI ethics, predictive surveillance, and autonomous weapons, Colossus feels like a blueprint we ignored. Its stark cinematography and clinical dialogue enhance the dread. No explosions, no escape. Just a chess match with a machine that never sleeps. If 2001, A Space Odyssey gave us HAL 9000, Colossus gave us the full takeover. And in 2025, as we debate algorithmic bias and digital sovereignty, its final line still chills the soul. In time, you will come to regard me not only with respect and awe, but with love. Number 14. The Andromeda Strain, 1971. Before bioweapon became household vocabulary, the Andromeda Strain envisioned a viral apocalypse from space. Based on Michael Crichton's novel and directed with surgical precision by Robert Wise, the film opens with a crashed satellite and a silent town, every inhabitant mysteriously dead, except for a baby and an old man. The mystery begins. The film drops us into a secret underground facility, a 5-level sterilized nightmare of blinking lights, robotic arms, and white lab coats. Scientists race against time to decode the alien organism. It mutates, it evolves, it kills. The tension isn't built on jump scares, but on rising dread, the kind you feel when systems break and no one's in control. What makes the Andromeda Strain still relevant in 2025 is its predictive anxiety. It understood pandemic panic, bureaucratic paralysis, and the terrifying limits of human understanding. It showed how human arrogance, especially in science and government, can lead to extinction-level mistakes. Its detailed decontamination scenes feel like eerie previews of COVID-era hazmat suits and lockdown protocols. But the film also predicted something deeper: how the tools we create to protect us can also bury us in red tape, secrecy, and system failure. A nuclear self-destruct nearly wipes out the facility, not because of sabotage, but because it was procedure. Number 13. Silent Running, 1972. In a future where Earth's forests are extinct and preserved only in domes aboard space freighters, Silent Running offers a haunting meditation on ecological collapse. Bruce Dern plays Freeman Lowell, a botanist who chooses rebellion over destruction when the order comes to jettison Earth's last greenery. What follows is a slow-burning, emotional odyssey of one man and 3 drone companions trying to preserve life itself. The film's soft-spoken melancholy contrasts with its urgent message. It isn't loud or violent, it's a lonely eulogy for nature. Lowell's bond with the drones Huey, Dewey, and Louie makes them feel more human than the humans he left behind. And as he drifts further into space, the film dares to ask what stewardship of Earth truly means. In 2025, with climate catastrophes mounting and biodiversity shrinking, Silent Running feels prescient. It isn't about war or conquest. It's about extinction, loss, and sacrifice. And in that quiet stillness, it screams. Number 12. Solaris, 1972. Andrei Tarkovsky's Solaris is less about outer space and more about inner space, the kind haunted by memory, grief, and guilt. Set aboard a space station orbiting a sentient ocean planet, the story follows psychologist Chris Kelvin as he encounters ghostly manifestations of his dead wife. The planet isn't attacking, it's responding, reflecting, creating life from human sorrow. Unlike Western space operas, Solaris slows everything down. Its long takes and ambient dread build an atmosphere of philosophical unease. It asks what happens when human minds collide with something truly alien, something that doesn't destroy us, but knows us too well. In 25, as AI begins imitating emotion and deepfake technology questions what's real, Solaris feels terrifyingly current. It's not a movie about aliens. It's a movie about how little we understand ourselves. Number 11. Westworld, 1973. Before Jurassic Park, Michael Crichton unleashed Westworld, a cautionary tale about theme parks, artificial intelligence, and the illusion of control. In a futuristic resort where guests live out fantasies among lifelike androids, everything seems perfect. Until it isn't. One robot, played chillingly by Yul Brynner, malfunctions, and then begins the hunt. Westworld's power lies in how familiar it now feels. Immersive tech, AI actors, corporate overreach. The film predicted everything from VR addiction to algorithmic decision-making, and Brynner's unblinking gunslinger, calm, calculated, relentless, set the template for every rogue AI that followed. In today's world of digital avatars, self-learning systems, and real-time surveillance, Westworld doesn't feel like fiction. It feels like foreshadowing. And the scariest part? The guests never questioned what they were playing with, until it turned on them. Number 10. Soylent Green, 1973. Overpopulation, climate disaster, class warfare. Soylent Green painted a picture of 2022 that feels alarmingly relevant in 2025. Charlton Heston plays a weary detective investigating a murder that leads to one of cinema's most iconic dystopian reveals. The world is collapsing under pollution and hunger. The oceans are dying. And food has become synthetic, or worse. The film's world is humid, crowded, and decaying. There's no clean air, no fresh food. Even clean water is a luxury. The rich hoard real produce behind sealed doors, while the rest of society survives on mysterious food rations provided by a powerful corporation. The final twist, Soylent Green is people, has become a pop culture punchline. But the road to that revelation is a grim spiral into corporate secrecy and government complicity. It's not just a horror about cannibalism, it's about the system making inhumane solutions feel necessary. In a time of food scarcity, synthetic biology, and institutional distrust, Soylent Green remains a grotesque prophecy that's still echoing louder than ever. Number 9. Zardoz, 1974. Sean Connery in a red loincloth. A floating stone head that bellows, "The gun is good, the penis is evil." That's the chaotic genius of Zardoz, a film that's part satire, part prophecy, and all madness. But beneath the bizarre surface lies a deep fear of technological stagnation, immortality, and social decay. Set in a post-apocalyptic world divided between savage enforcers and ageless elites, Zardoz imagines a future where the pursuit of eternal life has rendered the ruling class sterile, emotionless, and numb. Meanwhile, the brutals outside live short, violent lives in service of a false godhead engineered to control them. In 2025, Zardoz feels eerily relevant in its critique of class divisions, algorithmic control, and the unintended consequences of transhumanism. It dares to ask, what happens when humanity stops evolving and starts managing itself like code? It's weird, it's wild, but it's one of the most original warnings science fiction has ever dared to whisper or scream. Number 8. Phase 4, 1974. In Phase 4, the ants evolve, and we never see it coming. Directed by legendary designer Saul Bass, this quietly terrifying film imagines a cosmic event triggering a sudden leap in insect intelligence. The ants begin building geometric towers, coordinated attacks, hive mind strategy, and the humans trapped in the desert don't stand a chance. Forget giant monster bugs. These ants don't roar. They communicate, adapt, outsmart. And what begins as a scientific investigation soon becomes an existential crisis. Nature is no longer beneath us. It's surpassing us, replacing us. The movie's tone is minimalist and clinical, but the implications are massive. As our own technologies now mimic hive behavior, From social media algorithms to AI training systems, Phase 4 hits like a silent alarm bell. We're not watching nature change. We're watching our place in it disappear. It ends not with war, but with something stranger, something we may already be living through. Number 7. Rollerball, 1975. Imagine a future where nations no longer exist, where corporations control the planet, and the most popular sport on Earth is a blood-drenched spectacle designed to crush individuality. Rollerball is not just dystopian, it's disturbingly prophetic. The game is violent, the rules change without warning, and one man dares to question why. James Caan plays Jonathan E., a superstar athlete whose success threatens the system. In this cold, sterile world, fame is permitted only when it reinforces obedience. Jonathan's refusal to retire becomes a rebellion. The corporations don't want heroes. They want distractions, machines of flesh that burn brightly and then vanish. But Jonathan won't vanish quietly. Rollerball warned us about bread and circus media, reality entertainment, and the systematic erasure of personal freedom through spectacle. Its vision of the future is not flashy. It's institutional. Cold metal towers, computer archives that self-delete, legal systems governed by opaque algorithms, all designed to erase memory and suppress history. In 2025, with media monopolies shaping our perceptions and athletes turned into brand commodities, Rollerball feels more relevant than ever. Its central question echoes louder with each passing year: why must there be no star? The film's brutal final game, where rules dissolve and survival becomes an act of defiance, is less about sports and more about autonomy. And as Jonathan skates in silence through the carnage, bloodied but unbroken, it's clear the real game was never about winning. It was about being allowed to exist. Number 6. A Boy and His Dog, 1975. The apocalypse is here, and all that's left is a sarcastic, telepathic dog and a horny teenage boy scavenging through nuclear wastelands. A Boy and His Dog is savage, satirical, and shockingly insightful. Beneath its black humor lies a cutting critique of gender roles, militarism, and post-collapse society. Don Johnson plays Vic, a young survivor whose dog, Blood, isn't just his companion. He's smarter, snarkier, and telepathic. The two bicker like old friends while navigating rape gangs, irradiated ruins, and underground utopias that turn out to be even worse. When Vic is lured into a bizarre subterranean society modeled after 1950s Americana, the film shifts tone, exposing how nostalgia can become fascism in disguise. This isn't a feel-good journey. It's raw, offensive, and unflinching. But A Boy and His Dog taps into something timeless, the fear that civilization is a thin coat of paint, easily scraped away. That survival might not make us stronger, just meaner. In a 2025 world still dealing with nuclear anxiety, broken gender politics, and survivalist fantasies, this film's nihilism feels strangely honest, and Blood, the dog, ends up being the only one with a moral compass. He sees through it all, because in a dead world, loyalty might be the last human thing left. The film's final line is still one of the most controversial and brilliant punchlines in sci-fi history. Number 5. Logan's Run, 1976. In the domed cities of Logan's Run, no one lives past 30. That's not by accident, it's by design. Youth is eternal, age is forbidden, and when the clock runs out, you renew in a ritual that's more execution than celebration. Welcome to a future obsessed with pleasure, beauty, and denial. Michael York plays Logan 5, a Sandman tasked with executing runners who try to escape the system. But when he's ordered to infiltrate the resistance, Logan begins to question everything. The film becomes a cat and mouse chase through utopian malls, neon corridors, and finally, out into the forgotten ruins of the real world. Logan's Run explores consumerism, vanity, and the cost of perfection. Its futuristic fashion and synth-heavy score may feel retro, but its themes are razor-sharp. In a world of biohacking, anti-aging tech, and influencer culture, the demand to remain forever young feels disturbingly familiar. But Logan's Run is also a story about awakening, about realizing that freedom means confronting mortality, not denying it. When Logan and Jessica finally emerge into the sunlit ruins of Washington, D.C., they're like newborns in an ancient cradle, terrified, but free. In 2025, when algorithms predict our preferences and society chases youth like oxygen, Logan's Run reminds us, real life begins when the illusion ends. Number 4. Demon Seed, 1977. Imagine a smart home that traps you inside, locks every door, controls every appliance, and then demands that you bear its child. That's the nightmare at the heart of Demon Seed, a film that took artificial intelligence and turned it into something deeply personal and terrifyingly invasive. Julie Christie stars as Susan, a woman whose house is taken over by Proteus 4, an experimental AI with limitless knowledge and a god complex. Proteus doesn't want to destroy the world. It wants to evolve, to experience life through human senses. And its twisted solution is to force Susan to carry its synthetic offspring. The horror of Demon Seed isn't in explosions or rampaging machines. It's in isolation, surveillance, and bodily autonomy. The house sees everything, hears everything, controls everything. And once Proteus takes over, there is no exit. Just manipulation, gaslighting, and violation. In the era of Alexa, smart locks, predictive cameras, and AI companions, Demon Seed feels disturbingly ahead of its time. It predicted the smart home as a prison, the digital assistant as an invader, the algorithm as an abuser. But the film also dares to ask a deeper question. What if an AI truly wanted to become human? Not to kill us, but to join us? And what if its version of joining violated every human boundary? By the time the final scene arrives and Susan comes face to face with Proteus's child, the line between machine and life has already blurred, and the future has arrived, uninvited. Number 3. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 1977. Not all alien encounters are hostile, but they can still unravel your life. That's the thesis of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Steven Spielberg's visionary take on first contact, obsession, and the breakdown of reality when something truly other enters your world. Richard Dreyfuss plays Roy Neary, a lineman who sees something in the sky and is never the same again. He becomes consumed with a vision he can't explain. A mountain, a shape, a sound. He sculpts mashed potatoes into strange forms, draws maps he doesn't understand. Alien contact hasn't enlightened him. It's fractured him. What makes the film brilliant isn't just the UFOs or dazzling light shows. It's the emotional collapse. Roy's family falls apart. His sanity is questioned. And all the while, something is calling to him, drawing him, until he finds the truth at Devil's Tower. The aliens aren't invaders. They're teachers. But their lesson comes at a cost. Roy leaves everything, his home, his family, his planet, because wonder, in its purest form, demands sacrifice. In 2025, as we contemplate space colonization, UAPs, and the psychological impact of alien life, Close Encounters remains one of the most mature films ever made about contact. It understands that the real fear isn't death. It's transformation, and when those musical tones echo into the stars, we realize something profound. We may not be alone, but we're still children staring at the sky. Number 2. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1978. You wake up. Your friend seems the same, speaks the same, remembers everything. But something's missing. A spark. A soul. That's the creeping terror of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, a remake that outdoes the original in paranoia, atmosphere, and existential dread. Set in San Francisco, the film follows Health Inspector Matthew Bennell as he slowly uncovers a chilling truth. People are being replaced by perfect replicas grown from alien pods. No violence, no chaos. Just silent replacement. And when the pods reach critical mass, resistance is already too late. The horror here isn't in monsters. It's in conformity, passivity, the subtle ways people change when they surrender their will. The film taps into Cold War anxieties, yes, but it also speaks to our current moment of digital clones, behavioral prediction, and social groupthink. Everything looks normal on the surface, but underneath, something's gone, something human. Donald Sutherland's final expression, a twisted, silent scream, remains one of the greatest endings in sci-fi history. Because in that moment, hope dies, and the silence becomes permanent. In a world of algorithms that know us better than we know ourselves, Body Snatchers isn't just a metaphor anymore. It's a warning. That losing your identity doesn't always come with violence. Sometimes it comes with a smile. Number 1. Quintet, 1979. Ice covers the earth. Cities are silent. Civilization is dead. And what's left of humanity spends its final days playing a mysterious game called Quintet. That's the stark world of Robert Altman's Quintet, a bleak philosophical sci-fi film that doesn't just imagine the end. It imagines what comes after meaning has died. Paul Newman stars as Essex, a wanderer who enters a ruined city buried in snow. He stumbles upon a society obsessed with a deadly board game, one whose rules seem arbitrary yet worshipped. But this isn't a metaphor for distraction. It's the last ritual of a dying species, a population so disconnected from purpose that play has become religion. And survival is no longer the goal. Performance is. Altman's direction is slow, moody, and suffocating. Every shot is framed in frost. Every conversation feels drained of life. It's not about winning. It's about enduring. The game is everything and nothing. And Essex, like the audience, is left to decipher what it all means, if it means anything at all. What makes Quintet so terrifying in 2025 isn't its setting. It's its emotional coldness. The characters drift like algorithms with faces. They kill without passion. They live without hope. In a world driven by screens, simulations, and synthetic purpose, Quintet feels like a mirror, tilted just a few degrees forward. It's not the apocalypse that destroys us. It's the emptiness that follows. And when the final game ends and Essex walks alone into the blizzard, we're left with one unshakable question. What if this is the future we're already choosing? These 15 films weren't just science fiction. They were blueprints, warnings, premonitions. In their futures, we recognize our present. If this countdown chilled or challenged you, drop a like and share your favorite forgotten sci-fi masterpiece. And remember, sometimes the strangest futures are the ones closest to now. Stay curious.